Hey, everybody. Good Saturday. How are y'all? Oh, thank you. Hello, beautiful. Yes, I love the new intro. I like the new outro. I love the new branding and all of it. How are y'all doing today? Hey, Ben. How are you, Ben? Haley, Mandy. Red, did we get it done? No. Why? Why? Okay, I'm going to work on that. um, Red, give me a moment. I'll work on that in just a second. Let's see. I'm trying to go up here and see. Okay, so Poof 911 said, we'll catch you with the replay, Dodge. And Mandy. And here we go. Okay. So I just wanted to, hey, DJ. Hey, Nico. I got to figure out how to get that done, but I'll work on that over here. So everybody knows Dodge. I don't think he needs much introduction. So I am going to bring him on stage.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, Dodge, how are you?
It's a very kind introduction to say I don't need any introduction. Very sweet.
Well, you don't. You
I
do not.
appreciate that.
I do want to share your channel. There's
Thank you.
Dodge's channel. If you have not subscribed to him, you are missing out for sure.
Very kind. I appreciate that.
Very sure. And they're posting that in the chat as well. So
awesome. Thank you, guys. Yeah, Mandy, I think already gave me the link. And
oh,
hey,
yes,
Mandy.
Mandy.
I know Mandy quite well. I'm a big fan of hers.
So. Red said, hi, Dodge.
Hello, Red. Retired Red. Jealous. I want to be retired.
Yes, well, she's supposed to be mod. She's an admin, but I don't know why she's not a mod. I'm going to work on that over here while we talk. I know he has a beautiful background, right? Look, I mean, that's what
pretty nice, right? I'm at this cheap little cabin in Arkansas, so I travel a lot. So there's some days I just kind of want to catch my breath. So this is a little like $70 a night place in the mountains. And,
everybody's saying about your beautiful background.
Thank you. Definitely enjoying it.
So I am. If you want to introduce yourself, Dodge, while I try to get this mod thing fixed, that would be great.
Sure. And you know, it's good to introduce myself only because I've gotten a good amount of new subscribers from my last video who might be watching this as well, who don't necessarily know the story. So it's a good opportunity to talk about that. And I guess just a very long story short, I got involved. I have my own YouTube. I travel a lot, do some politics with Scientology or anti-Scientology, of course, is really what I focus on. And the reason that is because I was a TV news anchor. And I wrote a piece after Lisa Marie Presley died. And the piece remarked that she was probably going to testify in the retrial of Danny Masterson, who, of course, went to jail for sexual assault and much worse, which you can't necessarily say on YouTube, and was a Scientologist. So even though it was a truthful piece, the church went after me. They threatened to sue my news station. And they said to the news station, the only way they wouldn't sue them is if they fired me, even though it's a factual piece. So I got fired and got this nice audience and never really wanted to. It was I was a local news anchor for Yuma, Arizona, which had 100,000 people. So it was mainstream media, but very low level. But it's made me not want to go back. And I'm able to get by now with a nice amount of support. And I'm having a lot more fun doing it. So the main thing that I've been doing is covering a lot of court cases about people who have gotten restraining orders against Scientologists in efforts for them protesting in Los Angeles and their centers over there. So that's I always say the success of YouTube is not being the best, because Lord knows I've messed up, but being the only one. It's not being the best one, it's being the only one. So Kelly now, who does great work, has shown up to court, but I was mainly the only person showing up to court, which got some nice traction.
Yeah, I have been watching your coverage. You have done amazing coverage. And
thank you.
I'm just going to say this because I'm not going to go one side or the other. On that, but I'm going to tell you, you are fair and balanced.
That's how I try to do it.
You tell both sides, and I really appreciate that. There's not a lot of you left.
Some comments saying I should take more of a side or or less so. So that's nice to hear you say that you appreciate.
No,
I
I
think
appreciate it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I think being a journalist, I've always had kind of a non-hardcore partisan mind and always sort of an objective way of looking at things. So I try to bring that, and some people don't like that, but a lot of people do.
No, we
I
do.
appreciate you saying
I do for sure.
that. I
I
appreciate
do
that.
for sure. I'm trying. I think I've got it here.
Do your
Come
thing.
on. Good. I think I'm almost here because I've
Cool.
got to get her up here. For some reason, she wasn't paste. And
Yeah, you got a nice cadre of chat people. Got a lot of fans.
yes. What are you not doing here? Come on, y'all. I don't need any more. I'm the queen of difficult technology.
You and
Okay.
me both. That's been the biggest journey for me is the technology stuff. I still don't understand it. I'd still just rather write with a typewriter.
Oh God.
And in TV news, that was the worst, is because you had to, as a reporter, because it's dying, you had to edit all your own videos. You had to film it. You had to also be in the shot. So you had to set it up from the back and then jump in front of the shot. And then you had to edit everything. And I felt like I was a 95-year-old man. I couldn't understand any of it.
Look,
so this is a little easier, but it still has its limits. What's up?
You see my mod? You see what she put? That is the
Very
truth.
funny.
That is the truth.
More
I got it.
relatable. Great
Hey,
mind.
guess what? Guess who's got a wrench though? Figured it out. I'm getting a little better at this stuff anyway.
More than I could do.
I got a wrench. I don't know why she couldn't do herself, being that
Do you have 4 moderators?
I have a lot of moderators. The reason being is
this is like the opposite, because I have 0.
So I know. I was watching you this morning.
Yeah, they get a little crazy.
I think you're one from yesterday, maybe. I don't know.
I appreciate you watching.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason that we have so many mods is because I would just lay it out here. We are a very safe space for mental health.
Yeah, you have to.
Okay.
You deal with this stuff very carefully to not re-traumatize people. Yeah.
And when you have people coming in that want to just be ass buttholes, I got to watch that. Buttholes. Did we just we have a very, very. Hey, Tomas, I'm glad you're back. And Marie, we have a very, very dedicated group of people. We don't do like our memberships. We call them advocates for mental health. Yes, because we are all advocating for mental health, and sometimes, most of my mods have their own channels also. So we have to.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have to have that. Where some can't be here, some can, things like that. Sometimes they're all here.
Yeah, but right, you always need somebody, right? So you need.
And they also run we have a Facebook group that is dedicated. Cool. Yeah, so when we leave here, like if I'm interviewing someone about a specific trauma, when we leave here, we don't want to just leave that person stuck out with their trauma. We take it to the Facebook group, and we have dedicated peer support over there.
Oh, I love that.
So we follow through.
Love that. So it's not just that one moment. We're kind of
here
for the rest of your journey. And yeah.
Because I work in mental health for the last 20 plus years.
Cool.
I got my diploma in mental health. Believe it or not, I'm going back to school. Can you believe that? 50 years old, back to school. But
always a reason.
Yes, we are 24 hours. You're right. Hello, beautiful. Yes, she's right. Because we always have someone in that group.
Yeah, hardcore.
We're not going to leave anyone just out. And so me going back to school, I'm the CEO of my company, plus I'm a paramedic since I was 21. So yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Right now, not so much doing the paramedic thing because I've unfortunately got to have surgery again. I had C-spine surgery in January. Oof. And my hardware has collapsed. And so I'm not able to use
for pulling through all
this. This arm doesn't work now. It did before.
Oof. So you just can't move it at all?
The hand and the arm, it's just that nerve. I can move it, but I will scream bloody murder. Oof.
God, that's good for you because you got to type stuff, and that usually takes 2 arms.
Yeah, one. That's why I do a lot of voice memos.
Yeah, I can see why. Well, I admire you, for a lot of people just want to not be mobile at all or do much. So I admire you going full speed ahead with
Oh,
the channel,
oh,
regardless.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm thankful we're still here. I'm just gonna say that. If it
We're doing okay.
wasn't for our advocates and my camera's messed up. If we weren't if it wasn't one of our advocates here and my mods and my support system at home and here, I probably would have just rolled over. I mean, because
Sure.
I have a therapist. I see my therapist twice a week. In fact, she calls me every day now because of all this new stuff going on.
Yeah.
I have an amazing therapist, and we make no bones about it. I work in mental health, but I have to have my own mental health professional also. We carry on a lot. We do, and we do carry a lot on our shoulders.
But it takes a lot of strength to have that passion and say, all right, who do I need to speak with to continue my passion? Because you have people on the line for you. You have people that are waiting for your content, and that helps their life. So I
I hope
admire
so.
that it's not just you, but you're like, all right, all these people who get something therapeutic just watching me, I have to do it for them. So
I hope so. If I can, my 3 goals are for the day, every day, Dodge, and this is how it is. I
yeah,
find something to smile about before I get out of bed, no matter how bad a night I'm having.
I admire that. I love that. I can
Number
learn.
2, I'm going to improve someone's life just a little bit every day. And
Love
number
that.
3, I want to learn something every day.
Very intentional.
I want to make this world a better place. Like I want to leave today, or I want to be better today than I was yesterday, and I want to be better tomorrow than I was today. That's just how it is.
Beautiful. Beautiful. But with all that stuff getting thrown at them, not everybody would have that mindset necessarily, or to remain focused on it and look at the good and look at who can I help today. And I admire that. You don't wallow in it. You don't say everything horrible has happened to me, therefore I'm going to throw in the towel. It sounds like you've taken a lot of that and used it to say, well, we've all gone through something similar. How do we, get through a situation like this?
You're absolutely correct, actually, because the reason I started this channel, what gave me the inspiration to do it was being in the chats, just being a member of the chats. I'm a
Yeah.
never in, I was all over, I mean, SBTV, I want to help always, so Red, yeah, the helpers need help too. She's right.
Yeah.
But so I wanted to make sure that I started reading all these things about my insurance dropped me. I can't do
Oof.
my therapy. My therapist, I can't afford them. I mean, this just over and over and over, and it was to the point that I'm like, okay, I have to do something about this. No, we do not. Let me make that clear. We do not do therapy on this channel, but we have peer support.
Right.
And people want to be seen also. So what we do on the Facebook side of it, and it is coming up, I'm going to have to set it up myself this time because my partner on this channel, Gretchen, Dr. Gretchen, she's no longer able to be here right now. So I'm solo here, but not really solo. I have a lot of backup. And so we're going to start doing the Zoom meetings again. We used to do peer support Zoom calls once a week for the people in the Facebook group. Yeah.
Cool. Well, please email me. I know somebody posted in the chat, but please email me the Facebook group because I'd love to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will. Yeah, I sure will.
I have deep interest in. So I'm glad you do that.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you,
please,
since you're always the one getting to do the reporting.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to sit back.
So I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on, I know you cover all Scientology, all stuff Scientology, and what are your thoughts about the mental health aspect of that? Because coming out, it's hard. Like Serge came on and told me, he said it's hard for us to go to therapy when that's what we were told auditing was, the way they used
Right.
those words. So they specifically and intentionally use therapy so that if someone does get out, they're scared to death to go to therapy. What do you find when talking with some of the?
That's a great question. Well, it narrates to me that we should look at all of these creators with a certain amount of grace. And what I've noticed is that there are too many SBT or former SPTV or aftermath wars to count. It's sad because at this point, it's like everybody hates everybody else. And commenters understandably say, how could you have that emotional reaction, whether it be Chris Shelton or Aaron or Nora or Mitch Brisker or whomever? How do you have that like strong emotional reaction? Why do you make it 10 times bigger than it needs to be? But I have a lot of grace because, as you were saying, mental health is not even an idea in Scientology.
Right.
Obviously, empowering your mental mind through Dianetics and through the OT levels is some sort of way to get the best mental health. But even that term mental health, or certainly self-care, doesn't seem to be a factor in Scientology.
Right.
And what I've noticed is in a lot of these tips, it's something minor that one of the creators goes on an extreme emotional reaction to. And the other thing I've noticed is what's kind of the funniest and most bizarre to me is because I see a lot of different types of channel. I'm also interested in mental health. I'm interested in politics, certainly. I'm interested in history. And there are various creators in those spaces. And those creators also have concerns with each other and arguments. The Scientology space there's nothing wrong with that, but the Scientology space is the only space where you see these creators cry all the time and have these disproportionately strong emotional reactions. The amount of times I've seen Aaron or Nora cry or other people seems dramatic to me. And it, from an outside perspective, seems, well, why are you crying? But then from the perspective of not having a childhood where their own mental health is a fact, you understand it's a lot of lost awareness to catch up with. So it's like, I always say, deal with grace, but I'm curious, like, is there even a word for therapy in Scientology?
Okay, so when I asked Serge that, he told me, he said, and this is exactly what he told me on this channel. He said, when he was done and escaped, he said, you know what, to hell with it. I'm going to find the nearest psychiatrist, not a psychologist, not a counselor. He said, I'm going to find the nearest psychiatrist and I'm going to walk through that door and I'm going to face the devil, because what else could happen to me now?
Right.
So that kind of backfired on him. Yeah. But he was scared, but he did it. Right. And then he learned that, wait a minute, what we learned that therapy is not what therapy really is. So, right. And then he is able to see that he was living in the extremes, as most do. When they come out, it's either black or white. They don't really know how to live in the gray area.
That's such a good way to put it. The extremes. That's why I try to be a voice, because I don't see the extremes of it, and the emotion of a lot of these creators is to have an extreme reaction. But that's right. That's what Scientology teaches you.
Yes, and I do see that a lot from Hi Honey. I see him a lot. I see that a lot from a lot of the creators, and it breaks or the second gens or the third gens, and it breaks my heart because, well, first of all, I lead with empathic feelings because I'm like a super empath. Yes, that's just
can tell. Yeah,
nature of the beast. But I want to, you want to always fix things. You want to help everybody. But I had to come to that hard understanding that if they do not want help, you cannot force that on them. And that is something to tell an empath. No, that's some self-control that I had to learn. I cannot force that on them, that they will come to what they want to do in their own time. So, which brought me to the chat, to the empaths that were actually in the chat that couldn't understand how they could get hurt by it. Why don't they mean something? Okay. So we had to start all over here. Never ends. Most do not understand the depths of hell that ex-Scientologists have been through.
Sure. Yeah.
So we wanted to make a place for, if you are an ex-Scientologist, or if you're a never end, or if you have nothing to do with Scientology at all, it's just mental health. It's a place for everyone. And even the trolls are loved here, because they need mental health help too.
Don't they ever? Yeah.
So that is kind of that's kind of what I had to go off on what Serge told me, because he's really the one person that has opened up about it. And we have several ex-Scientologists in here that, and they will tell me, hey, this is what we went through.
Right. Right. And
So
that's, and I admire that too, because Serge, you could see, unlike some other creators who have publicly said they've never gotten therapy, you could see how healthy Serge has used his pain. It's like
yes.
the way he protests, that anger, that volume is helping children be free from Scientology, but it's also probably working out his own pain because he's turning it into something productive. He's still feeling it. And so I admire the hell out of the guy because in some sense, he's re-traumatizing himself every day.
Every day.
Every day. But he has this higher purpose because he's compelling to listen to. He's fascinating. His story is fascinating. He's so low key and quiet. And then you see him protest and it's like a completely different person.
Oh man, when he protests, he gets my heart.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
yeah.
I'm like, Serge.
That's how you got to do it, though.
It is, and he's very effective. And I've been with Serge since like the day he started speaking out on his YouTube channel. I think there were 3 of us in the chat, literally 3.
He's one of the OGs. Yeah.
Yep. And I kept telling him, keep speaking, keep speaking, keep speaking, Serge. Somebody's going to hear you. I mean, this went on for over a year, keep, and he built and it built and it built. And then, and everybody was just like, to me, looking from the outside, everybody was just ignoring Serge. They were like, and I'm like, I would tell him every day when he was through with this chat, keep speaking, truth to power, Serge. Someone's going to hear you.
Wow.
And look now. Look what he's done.
This is what's so powerful about what you're doing, because everybody needs that angel on their shoulder, that conscience on their shoulder, being like, don't worry. Like, I see the best in you. And I think you're probably, in addition to being an empath, I think you can see the best in people and see how they can be their best selves, which is also a big part of therapy. So I'm glad he had that person, because you can see how healthy it is once you get that, and you can see how you can channel that. I think Lara is similar in that regard.
Oh yes. I had so much fun with her in Austin. Oh my gosh, we had a blast.
She's badass. Yeah, huge fan of her. So you can see it. Like, if you do get the therapy, you could be an incredibly effective protester. And I'd have to ask them, but I could imagine that is also therapeutic. Getting that pain out into the real world is something.
You know what you just brought up in my memory was Jenna in front of flag and drawing that big, huge hand with the middle finger. I thought that was like, I said, what kind of therapy that must be for her.
Yeah.
That's just that's all I could think was, wow.
That's a big part of therapy, isn't it? Is it, whether it's talk, whether it's drawing, whether it's protesting, it's get it out of your head and put it in a visual audio space.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And that's big. That's huge, because I mean, that was her first time back there since she was little, since she got out back to that building. And for her to have the just to be the strength to sit there where she went through horrible torture, and to draw them a big finger and a big, the middle finger up there. It was amazing. I thought that took her power back. And I think that had to have such an effect on her, because it did all of us watching.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's got hundreds of thousands of people because she has a lot of subscribers and a lot of views.
Yes.
So hundreds of thousands of people to be aware of the evils that Scientology has committed, and so that's a legacy that people have is hopefully they'll be around for another 50 years, but if they left this world tomorrow, there's tangibly in 6 digits how many people they have helped and created awareness.
Oh, absolutely.
But
you've been there, you've reported on, so on the protesters, I know that ever since, I know you were there during the Danny Masterson.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of that. Okay, but you've been there when all these protesters have had court. You've been like their rock of support, and you've been the only one that has reported it.
Yeah. Well, now Kelly, who has also been doing it, just started, and she's been doing a great job. But yes, before her, I was the only one. Yeah.
Yeah, and much respect to you from everyone that I've seen. Every channel that I've been on, I do not see anything bad about Dodge. It's like,
that's kind.
They're waiting on Dodge to come out and report. They're waiting on Dodge.
I can find a little bit, but it'll take me a while.
No, I mean, it really is the truth, though, because I mean, I mean, there's those protesters and the streamers, they do talk outside, they're like, yay, yay,
Sure.
like Streets, he does his own thing. But literally everybody's on their channels, and especially me, I'm like, when's Dodge coming out? Everybody's just on their seats, when's Dodge
Thank
coming out
you.
to report this? So
Thank you.
you're very well respected.
It means the world for me to hear, because I felt so lost when I got fired and
I
so
just can't believe
useless.
that. Mm.
Yeah. And I figured there'd be, I probably couldn't get another TV news job. And if I didn't do that, then what activity do I do? What do I do that's meaningful, where I feel like I'm giving people information? And it's just so nice to hear that, because now I feel like when I started the YouTube, all I wanted to do is, all right, the main goal of this channel is, can I be useful? Can I bring when I was in the news, I always felt like the news was a service. A lot of my anchors didn't look at it that way, but I felt like I was providing the service to my audience. And I was trying to think, how do I provide a service where I could bring my abilities, or at least presence, to do something helpful. So when you say that, it's like, you talk about the mental health thing, and just, thank you, Blake. Very sweet. Yeah, I appreciate that. And a lot of people felt that. I agree with that. And a lot of people felt that way. But I felt incredibly lost. And so, you talk about fulfillment in terms of mental health, and it's like, okay, now I feel fulfilled. It's like, here's my role. Here is how, in a very small way, I could contribute to taking down Scientology, or at least broadcast. And that was the best part. It's like in the cases when, for example, DOA got his restraining order, and JB Wheeler had to admit that he was only getting paid $40 a week. Like, that's in court now. That's set in stone. And I was able to relay that and set that in stone, And so, like, that's now a fact, right? It's been said in a public court of law. I've recorded it.
So now it's precedent. I mean, it's in there,
Right.
and can be brought up, because
Right.
it's been memorialized in that case. So now that's a win any way you look at it.
Yes. So I appreciate you saying that.
Look, I have some more here. I usually don't do this when we're doing talks. I usually wait till the end to do the questions.
No problem taking compliments. I can take as many as you want to throw at me.
I mean, this is just how many people. I just want you to know that there's a lot of
Thank
people.
you, DJ Nico. That's very, very kind.
And always tired. She says sometimes tragedy puts you into another path that works out better than you expected, and that is for me too. I was never expected that I was going to do this.
Yeah, you do a great job. And look at, a lot of people rely on you to have those conversations and feel better and understand what they're going through. And I feel the same way. I never felt this sense of fulfillment or meaning when I was doing TV news. It was always the bigger parents saying, no, this is a little too gutsy to try to do, color within the lines, and read the script. And to me, that wasn't really truly helping people. So yeah, I'm a lot happy. The irony is it's very sweet that people had all this sympathy for me, but I never enjoyed those jobs, actually. And this is not that this is a job, but I guess I'm making some small semblance of income. But this is the first time I've really felt happy, which is interesting. And, the free time makes a big difference, just to be out in the mountains like this makes a big difference. But also that I'm doing something where people are reacting positively.
Yep, there you go. Marie says one thing about Dodge getting fired is now he can report things the way he wants to, not how he's told to.
Right.
Absolutely. Red said the same thing. Exactly. Yes. And that gives us, you give us something that we can't find anywhere else. We can go to you, and we know what you have. Then you tell us, and you share this stuff with us, because sometimes as an never-in, or as an ex-Scientologist, or as maybe nothing to do with Scientology, just in life in general, we all need to be reminded that there is some good coming out of what we're doing. And you do that for us by reporting these things, like what's been on, now this is on the court docket. Right. I mean, look at all these wins that they've had against Scientology in the court cases, all the protests.
Yeah.
Yes, it sure has. And you've been right there, and you've given us that we would have never learned about until we, maybe have heard it on a channel that we may or may not have watched.
Right. And it's nice to have that one central figure. And that's been fun too, is, for the less well-known YouTubers, I've gone to their cases and they've gotten a small jump in subscribers because people weren't, I could think of Josiah Adler as one of them. And people are kind of aware of him, and that helps them, and that helps them even raise some money. I'm not aggressive on raising money because I don't need to be, but it's helped a lot of the Scientology, the protesters raise what they need to get proper representation and stuff. And
yes, but I
all
also know, Dodge, you also have to go. What you do isn't cheap.
No,
what you do is not.
No,
you do a great service for all of us. Do you on your channel? Do you have things that where people can, when they go subscribe, they can
certainly. Yeah. So I appreciate you asking. I don't ever make fundraising pushes unless it's very practical. So
but this is needed. I mean,
yeah. And good point. Good. And I won't do it. Like, I'll pay for a flight ticket. Like, let's say I was in Denver last time because I wanted to cover a case in Kansas. And so I flew back to LA, and I didn't raise money to do that. I just did that because people were expecting me to show up. But when I did the video, then I was like, hey, if you want to help out, here are the links. So I try to do it as little as I possibly can. But I'll do it if it's a practical thing. If I'm like, all right, here's this specific day in the trial, I have 4 days. If you want to pay for these $400 for these 4 specific nights at the motel, and maybe I'll need, $100 for gas and parking. So I try to be very careful about it and not, I guess I could do it whenever I want, I suppose. But for me, it's like the only time I'll ask for money if it's for me to get transported somewhere to offset the cost to bring the information that you like. So it's almost if you are paying me for good information. Yeah.
No, but I've noticed that. But you've also, and I'm going to say it because I can say this on here.
Sure.
Everybody that can, please, Dodge's information is on his channel. If whatever you can give to him, if it buys him a hamburger and buys his dog a bag of dog food, we're happy.
I appreciate that. I can always use it whenever. So
yes,
Lord knows I wouldn't say no. Certainly not. And there'll be, in January, there's going to be a trial with Henry. And so that'll be.
Yeah. So how do you think that's going to go?
That's a good question. It's not looking great. I should even relay from the horse's mouth because he gave me just a lot of crazy information. So I might even pull up my texts. So all of this is based on him pulling out the wooden stanchions, especially the dog, very sweet, putting out the wooden stanchions from or the planters at Big Blue, at the big Scientology building. And it looks like they're probably going to go to trial. There's a hearing in early December. They might even throw it out because it's weird because the city attorney has indicated she wants to continue to prosecute the case, but then they haven't gotten anybody to really be on the ground and like try to go forward with it. They haven't gotten the police to really take the time to testify or anything like that. It doesn't look like they will. So that it seems kind of corrupt. It seems like there's this one city attorney that might have a relationship with some key Scientology people. And because of that, they never even offered a plea, for example, which is kind of bizarre. So
did they take his up with the LA, with the county, or is it the city attorney?
It would be city. That's a good question. I'm not positive. But I think city attorney. So Henry says, it's great just to quote from him because he's so well informed on this. Obviously, it's his case. It's the first ever case, says Henry, in the 200 plus years of LA history where the city attorney themselves personally showed up to handle a simple arraignment hearing for 1 count criminal misdemeanor case. So that therein lies the difference. That's the bizarre thing. The city attorney would have their deputies, would have their employees for like small ball like this.
Yeah, for a misdemeanor.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if a guy killed a guy, the city attorney shows up. If a guy removed planters, the city attorney does not show up. It is not a big enough fit. So that's where they shot themselves. And that's something I want to investigate further because that's where they shot themselves in the foot. And you can see it's this deep type of corruption.
The corruption is enormous.
Yeah. Never ending. He also says it's the first ever criminal case to go 3+ months without having, right, that's what I was saying, without having a prosecutor assigned. So no prosecutor even wants to care to take this. So the city attorney shows up saying this is how important it is. The city attorney can't get a prosecutor to give a crap. Pardon my French.
Oh, wait, Rochelle just said, let's see, what did Rochelle say up here?
Yes, Heidi. Yep. Rochelle knows her stuff. Right. Heidi Feldstein. Soto. Yep.
Yeah.
Very
and you know what I don't get is, okay, so I thought that I mean, maybe I'm wrong because I've seen all of them that are going through this go through the county or whatever the prosecutor is, but then if they get off and they're exonerated, and then they're like, okay, well, the city attorney has this so long to pick it up. I'm like, how corrupt is this?
Right.
Wouldn't that be like double jeopardy to me? I mean,
well,
I did go to law school.
Because you have a right to a fair and speedy trial too.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, I went to law school for 3 years. I graduated law school. I just couldn't go take the bar. Thank you.
Wow. So you have training in law and mental health. Impressive.
Yes. And trust me, the law side was so hard for me because
I reckon
I like math and science, and this is history and reading and writing, but I managed to get all the way through it. So, but yeah, so I'm thinking that would be double jeopardy unless they adjust that charge just a little bit.
Right. So it's already, I mean, it's so ripe. I hope Henry looks at it, and I would cover that. I hope Henry gets enough together. He seems to have a very effective attorney. My guess is if they win this case, the attorney is very good. So my hope is the attorney might join on pro bono, and I hope he files a massive lawsuit. Because there's the thing, what's unique about Henry's case, and I'm going to do a video about this, that's different than any other case. And the other cases were RO, so it's a different set of dynamics. But with Josiah, for example, he's a gentleman who's been protesting Scientology as well.
Yes.
A little less visible, perhaps, and not currently active. That's the difference. Henry has been very effective because Henry is currently active. His subscribers keep growing, and he never gets a single thing wrong. He can explain everything in such detailed, but in an interesting way that he is actively hurting Scientology. So in Josiah's case, the city attorney did not show up. It was only in Henry's case. So this is kind of a first, and with the RO stuff, you can do an anti-slap, which they've done.
Anti-slap, yeah, but not with a criminal.
Right. And Henry wants, but with this, and Henry could do an anti-slap as well in his case. But I hope he goes further and actually does a 6-digit minimum lawsuit. Because again, it hasn't happened before where the corrupt city attorney has made her presence known, obviously taking orders from somebody involved in Scientology. So that's going to go further, I think, and I hope Henry sues. Hopefully, he'll be declared not guilty.
He is an engineer, and he does know what he's talking about, and he was doing those measurements every night. I watched Tori sitting out there. I mean, he took notes and measurements, and he knows that it was. I mean, he knows what's up.
Right. He knew the exact circumference, where it could be, how. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Like, I can't even measure anything. So, it was impressive.
DJ Nico said, Dodge, how often do people not try to tell us, don't look at the man behind the curtain?
Almost always, especially in work. It's don't analyze anything. Don't look at where this is coming from. Just kind of project the script that CNN gives you, or Fox, or whichever mainstream source that is pretty inadequate gives you. And then it looks like with Scientology, even more so. Is it just Heidi Feldstein, or don't look behind, don't look beyond what's happening?
Yeah.
But funny question. Yeah. No, it makes you think, because the man behind the curtain is pretty inadequate and small quite often.
Yes, absolutely it is. Okay, so I'm going to go back to mental health. What keeps you healthy?
Oh, that's a great question. What keeps me healthy is the outdoors, I would say, is hiking as much as I can. I try to be out. If I'm not covering a trial, I try to be outdoors with the dog walking, even though the dog is fat, just because I feed him too much. Lord knows he gets his exercise.
Oh, I watch him all the time. Yes.
I appreciate that. Thank you for watching us. And so, I try to walk with him 4 to 5 hours a day. And I think just being in the sun, I always feel like human beings that was why I was always so sad being an anchor, is because I always felt so sad being in a fluorescent light for 8 to 9 hours. That was so not me. And unfortunately, that's the way humanity, or we're looking to change that with 4-day work weeks and universal basic income and shortened work hours. But that's the normal process. That's the expected task of a human, is to essentially stay inside a room.
Yeah.
And to me, it like I was always, it was funny. It was always like I was so angry to grow up, because I mean, school is like that too. But post college, I was so angry to have to get a job, because it's like, okay, this is what I'll have to accept for the next 50 years. And I would see, the sun in a beautiful day and realize, nope, I cannot be in that. I cannot be outside. I cannot be enjoying that. It's so funny even when people have 9 to 5 jobs, it's almost like, who cares if the weather gets warmer, because you can enjoy it 1 or 2 days a week, if that.
I call it my sun therapy.
Yeah, sun therapy. So
Yeah.
I would definitely say that sunshine is what keeps me happy, because everything else, it's just nice to exercise your legs, get your heart beating, and everything else. It makes other things seem minor when you're kind of absorbing beauty in a way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that would be my number one.
That's great. I mean, that. Yes. Because I imagine traveling, you've got, and then
It's an
being in
addiction.
the courthouse, and then being in the
Right.
courthouse. Yeah. So I know that you treasure the outside.
I do. And there's some deeper therapy stuff from long ago that I might like. I love to be alone in an almost kind of weird, unusual way, even though I'm very social. So that's a lot of stuff to look at. Is like, I've never had.
It's not weird.
Well, that's nice to hear. Okay, cool.
It's not weird.
It's not.
Actually,
Good.
it's not,
Cool.
because I'm the same way. I was social until the pandemic. Let me put it that way. Before, okay, let's put it this way. Before the pandemic hit, I was in Nashville 3 times a year. That's my happy place. That's
great
just
city.
where all my friends are there. I love to be there. And then on Christmas morning of 2020, after they shut it all down. And then the place that I stayed in, literally every time I went to Nashville, it blew up in the Christmas morning bombing.
Oh, wow. Oh, you're right there when that happened.
No, I wasn't, thank God, because it was closed for the pandemic. But if I would have been, I wouldn't be sitting here, because it demolished the building that I stayed in.
Oh, how scary.
In fact, it's still not rebuilt.
Right.
So now I won't go back. I haven't been back.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's something that affected me, like, truly in my
you.
head, with the pandemic going on and us being locked down, and I work in the medical field. So, I mean, I've had COVID 6 times, and it's just like you get enough of the bad stuff, and then your one happy place has been invaded and exploded. So yeah, I know that. So I do know how that goes about, trying to keep your mental health straight. And I think I do a lot of that. Like, I do have, I want to be alone. I was a social butterfly in the midst of all of thousands of millions of people. Every concert, front row, don't go. That was my theory. Don't matter, which I am going to break that. I'm going to see Aaron Lewis in February. Can't wait.
So, very cool. Have fun.
I had to put that in there. It's the only one I think I've never seen him in concert yet that was like on my bucket list. So yes. I don't know how I've missed it, but I did. But he's coming 45 minutes from my house.
Not bad. Okay, so you can do it.
But yes, I'm going to do it. So, but I already bought the tickets.
Give us a rundown after you go. I'd be curious.
Oh, I absolutely will. I'll probably come back, and that's all we'll talk about, because I love it. But that's my mental health. I mean, let me see if I can.
Well, it's a part of mental health. I mean, that's the thing,
I'm really big with
cool.
the project, the semicolon project. I'm sorry. So music is my therapy.
I love that.
Project. Yeah,
I'm big on music too, as well.
Yes, and music is wonderful. And I heard you. Whenever you were just driving, singing.
Yes.
I was loving it.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
No, I did. I mean, like, that is where you were happy. I mean, you're laughing and you were talking.
It's fun to share that with people.
Yeah, and then that helps more people than you know, because it related to me, because that's what makes me happy.
I love it. I never thought about it that way. That's cool. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And people could kind of get that energy.
Yes, because I immediately stopped, because I was doing something and I stopped, and I was like, wait a minute. It's a whole big plane. That's something that brings everyone together and puts them in their happy place.
Right.
and
Yeah.
and it made me stop. So I know that it helps other people. So yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
It could be residual, just like if people, if Nora's in a good mood, that makes me feel good. It's just right. You're right.
Mm.
And I never thought about it with me too. That could be a thing. And that's
Oh
what I love
yes.
about YouTube, because when I was a TV news anchor, oftentimes they'd say I was too silly, I was too much, I was too goofy. I wasn't respected by my colleagues. I did an effective job, but I was so kind of silly and outgoing. They were so type A and serious. There was a
Mm.
deep well of disrespect. And it was funny because I was like, I don't get that. It's like everybody in the world likes me except for my boss and like the two most important people I work with. And there's always 3 or 4 people, but those 3 or 4 people would always make sure they indicate that I would never have the personality type to be promoted or to be respected or to have a career. And it's so nice to be rid of that. And it's so nice not to feel denigrated for
Yes.
being kind of silly and funny and I don't take myself that seriously. I don't think I'm Jesus Christ, and some people
You enjoy
hate
your
that.
life though. I mean, I
I
don't
do,
know,
yeah.
but to me, I mean, just looking and watching you, your truly passion shows through. It shows through.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love that it can be considered a good thing for once.
Yes.
And that's why YouTube is
Please
so
don't hide
great.
that.
Right.
Don't
I've had
hide
so
that.
many things to share and silly things to say. And it's like, and my old jobs is like that would get me in trouble. And now it's nice to, have people that appreciate me being me. So yeah, I mean, all that it's speaking of damage to your mental health, Lord knows that uh TV news does that, certainly.
I think there's a lot
Thanks
of
for
us
how
on here that have
ain't that the truth?
Nico, I
No.
think honestly seeing a lot of stuff in the chat about this, and I think we all are in agreement that I don't even TV news is old news. Like we
It is. It's dying
definitely,
anyway. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we need Red says we need silly and goofy. You know,
Yeah.
we do in a world where everything is so serious.
Judy, that's a good question. I was looking at your question.
Oh,
I went to graduate school for journalism. I have a big beef with ASU. I wanted to go to ASU Cronkite School very badly. And I'll just tell this stupid little story. And I was applying to graduate school, and I wanted to go to ASU specifically because I liked Mexico so much. I had a more fun. It's like in the U.S., like being a redhead is like the mark of Cain. It's like people think it's well, with a woman it's different, but for a
okay.
man,
Me, you, Red. We got a
right,
whole chat full of
right.
redheads.
So you can relate, right? But for a man, it's even worse. Like you can't get a date. So in Mexico is like considered very exotic and attractive. So I want to be in Phoenix so I could easily get to Mexico. And so I applied to Walter Cronkite. I wrote this really long, good cover letter. I had run for city council in the past. I had been a member of a community board, had some political experience. So I wrote all about this. And then the recruiter called me, which it seems like it's rare, saying, hey, you got to come and visit. You seem like you're a great candidate. So I flew to ASU, did the interview. Then, unfortunately, I had to take, I can't even remember what it was called, that GREs, I believe, the exam before graduate school. And my math, I'm the opposite of you. My math was so bad. I was in the bottom 5th percentile in math. Now, for verbal, I was in the top 30th. And for the essay, I think I got a 5 out of 5. So the written was perfect. The verbal was top. But because of my math scores, the recruiter called me up and say, sorry, we're not letting you in. And I'm
Oh
thinking it's
my
journalism
gosh.
school. So you actually I'm kidding. Judy re-traumatized me. ASU is a great school. I ended up going to Emerson, which I always called the poor man's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism. And that was in Boston. And that was probably number 3 or 4. And Cronkite is probably number 1. So still got a great education. But so yeah, I did undergrad political science, had a political gig for a long time. And then when I wanted to do journalism, I went to graduate school and got rejected from Cronkite despite visiting and despite the recruiter calling me simply because I'm bad at math. But yeah, so
Okay,
that's my
so
long answer to that question.
Dodge. No, that's a great answer, but let me
Thank
tell
you.
you something. I'm going to tell you. Okay, so my law degree is no better or no worse than someone that graduated from Harvard. We have the same exact law degree.
Interesting.
That's just the way I look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be at the bigger schools, you can pay them more money.
No, it
You're
is making
going you're going to get, I mean, you all have to pass the same test, so you're going to have to learn the same information,
Yeah.
So, just with me, my diploma is no different than theirs. So,
No, Boston was just freezing versus Phoenix. It just, I would have preferred to be in Phoenix. That was the only reason.
oh yes, I don't do cold. I'm in Southeast Texas.
I think Boston people are kind of rude, and I just didn't, even though I'm from the Northeast, I'm from New York City. It's like, I quite disliked Boston, regrettably. Oh, interesting. Judy says, yeah, and he deserves that consideration. My son is a disabled veteran, so they probably took that into consideration. I'm sure he got in because he's talented as well. Well, who knows? Maybe we applied in the same year and he got instead of me, and then the world would make sense, because that would be fair.
Yeah, and always how she says better schools do get better jobs. Yes, I wanted that up. Yeah, are you sure Dodge redheads are not are my type?
Well, I got one. Cool, thank you. The thing about the redheads is, like, I'll never be seen as a person that, like, has black hair. It's not like somebody goes and sees somebody with black hair and they think, oh, people with black hair are so gross, or, oh, I have a black hair fetish. It's just that person has dark hair. And with redheads, I kind of hate it, because it's like, it's either that person's red hair is nerdy and disgusting, or I have this weird fixated thing only for redheads. And it's like,
right.
You don't get that if you just have brown hair.
Hi, Skylight Night.
But
thank you for being here.
I'll take the compliment anyway.
Yes. See, Marie says she has a redheaded son. Red hair is beautiful.
Cool. I appreciate that.
Okay.
It inspires conversation. So maybe that's a good thing.
Well, good conversation that I'm fixing to have to go back in for surgery is, now that I know that redheads are harder to be put to sleep in, there don't take really good to medication. Now I know why. Oh, I'm sorry, poet Brian. I'm sorry. Redheads will break your heart. I know from personal experience.
That might be true too.
Yeah, probably. I'm just gonna say, yeah, probably. But we're harder to put to sleep under anesthesia.
I've heard that. I don't know how true any of that is, but I've heard.
Oh, it's true, because they told me to count backwards from 9 in January when I was laying on that table.
Okay. Huh.
I got to 0 and I said, "Do I start over?" Taylor looked at each other and we're like,
"You weren't there yet.
Start over again." And so I think I got to 8 the next time. I don't remember anything else.
Okay, yeah, took a little while.
But yeah,
so
I mean, I literally went down from 9 to 0, and I was like,
right.
Do I start over? They're all looking at each other. Now they know.
Yeah. This takes a while.
Yeah, it does. It's just, I don't know what it is.
But yeah, it's always, I mean, I think I've had a red hair and a unique name. So if nothing else, it's made me more of an individualistic person, individualistic thinker. Because I was always kind of different in a lot of ways.
The critical thinker, the individual. Yeah. We need more of that. We need more of it. I'm so tired of the group think.
Me too.
I truly am tired of the group think. It's just like some things.
Yeah, that's why I always encourage, look at each, think for yourself. You can be fans of multiple people and still like them. And person A can hate person B, and you can still watch person A and person B.
That's right.
There's no reason you have to retire into a fiefdom necessarily.
And yeah, and I don't want to be the channel, and I won't be the channel that is a yes ma'am channel. No, that is not, this channel is not about me. It's about the people in this chat that come in here for help. It's never going to be about me. I don't want it to be about me. And I want to improve someone's life, even like, okay, so I'm not at work today, so I know I'm not physically going to be able to help at my facility, so I'm hoping somebody gets a little bit of help on here today.
Helping me, makes me look at things and my work in a different perspective, so thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
At least you got one.
Thank you, Dodge.
Yeah,
okay, well, I'm gonna look, I'm gonna bring up some of the star questions here.
Sure.
Let's see. I gotta get past, I did the rules and trigger warnings already.
All right, petting my dog in the background.
I am going to show this one again, though. If you do see, because I had to stop the banner from ticking because it's messing with my eyes, y'all. But anytime you see something that makes you go, red light, just say red light.
Cool. Important.
We will stop and assist. Yeah, because it is a mental health channel. Things can happen. And thank you, Tomas, for that. I
Very nice.
appreciate your super chat and for the coffee, Coke Zero, or tacos.
So you're Coke Zero. I'm Diet Coke. This is all, I drink a drum of Diet Coke every morning.
I'm Diet Dr. Pepper.
Oh, okay. Diet Dr. Pepper. Okay.
Yes, I actually do love that. Okay, so Indigo says, did you find yourself a target to Scientology after your reports?
Yeah, no, it's so funny because everybody says they were targeted by them constantly, and I do wonder how much of it is legitimate, which I'm sure.
Oh,
I bet. So interesting. I'd love to hear that story. I'll ask you. But right, so you've been involved in it. I don't think I was ever followed or targeted, or I was never swatted. So I think what they felt like once they got rid of me, I think they were pretty okay. But wow, so you were targeted?
Oh yeah, well yeah. We'll talk
Wild.
afterwards. We'll talk afterwards. Yes,
Like
several times.
maybe that's worth a whole different video, but I'd love to hear about that at some point.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely talk to you. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow. So right, it happens to a lot of people.
Yes, it does.
As for never Scientologists, I don't know how much it really happens to them.
Oh, it happens, but they give up. They give up, or they make you. Let's just hope they give up.
But I'm also very oblivious.
It's a very noisy, distracting, just make your life a living hell.
Well, the only thing that I wonder about, but I have no tangible evidence of, is I was smoking marijuana in Georgia, and in the car was off and it was outside my hotel, and I was doing a live stream with the primary results with Super Tuesday, and I said where I was staying or indicated where I was staying, and then probably 10 minutes after I entered the stream, the police knocked on my door, and I got put in jail. I had, maybe a tenth of an hour.
My dear Lord.
Yeah, so put in jail for about 16 hours. And then I later looked at it. The sheriff, it was Cobb County, the sheriff for that county issued an edict saying they no longer arrest people for minor marijuana possession. So here I was not only arrested, but held for 16 hours. There's 15 minutes away. There's a Scientology org.
Oh, well, there you go.
So maybe,
there's no maybes. See it. Look, we see it more than, and I've talked to a lot of ex-Scientologists, and they're right. We see they never see it more than what they do, because they're the way they were raised, and we just can observe that from far away. We can see that that's not correct. That's not right. There is no coincidences when it comes to that. And if you start doubting there is, they'll just get it worse and worse and worse.
Right. And the reason I think you're probably right too is because this was after I had flown into Chicago, because I travel all the time. So Atlanta was the base. I flew into Chicago, flew back to Atlanta, flew into Chicago to protest. And I was with the Ideal Org opening, and I was probably probably the loudest voice in terms of volume alone, not in terms of efficacy, but in terms of volume alone. I was probably one of the loudest voices. So, and it was funny because there's this guy, I believe his name was Jason. He's a known character. He kind of transports himself between LA and was also seen in Chicago. So, right. Yeah. Big beard. Right. So he said the day before I got arrested, he was like, be careful, Dodge, you have warrants. And I didn't have any warrants. And I said, warrants for what? He said, for crimes, for crimes.
Of course.
And they went after I was like, I didn't have any warrants. What are you talking about, dude? I said, thank you. I'm honored you're thinking about me.
Oh, they were.
Right. I feel special that you know who I am, because he's like, hey, Dodge, knew my name. And then a day later, I got arrested.
There's your warning. That was your warning.
Right. Well, he said not warning, warrants. He said I had warrants. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was your warning.
Right,
they knew who you were. So I don't even have a doubt about who that was.
Right. So they're, unfortunately for them, I'm sure they're hoping I would get a warrant, but I showed up to court. The prosecutor was almost baffled by it, and it's like, this is weird. They arrested you. And he's like, this
weird and arrest in the same sentence. What
yeah, right. And then he was, and at the jail too. At the jail, everybody was like, that's weird. They were like, wait, all the officers and correctional officers, like, that's weird. You're spending the night here for marijuana? That hasn't happened in like 10 years.
Right.
So they thought it was weird. And then the prosecutor slapped it down from a misdemeanor to a municipal violation, which isn't even a misdemeanor, and slapped down from $1,000 fine to like a $500 fine.
Oh my Lord.
So he was like, it's almost not even, it's not on the record anymore. It's it's like the same thing as jaywalking or moving violation.
Moving violation.
Parking
So
ticket.
it's,
Right.
yeah.
So
Red,
he did me right, but yeah, there must have been something. I feel like there was something nefarious, and it had happened that a year before they did honor the police chief of the nearby county. So,
okay, well then this question, Red, thank you for becoming a member, an advocate. I appreciate that so much. It supports to keep this channel going. I really do appreciate that. Okay, so I have another one. I'm going kind of out of order here because this goes with what we're talking about. Let's ask Dodge. Has he experienced safe
I
pointing?
forget what that. And sorry, I'm just getting my charger because my phone's almost.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's almost dead. I forget what is safe pointing again.
So where Scientology is going to reach out and tell their side of the story, or how how they safe point with LAPD. So they've got all their bases covered. They safe point with the prosecutors. They make these deals, or however they do it. They get their word in first, and they know that they're not going to get in. So have they approached you to try to get you not to report anything?
No, you think they would, but no, they haven't. I've been pretty good. I guess, at the end of the day, I just have like 9,000 subscribers. So maybe they think it's too small ball to really care about, but
I have less than you.
That's true, right? Well, you're a former Scientologist, though.
No, I'm never in.
Are you?
My therapist has helped me clear a lot of things, a lot of negative core beliefs that I have.
Cool.
And because I've never been able to stand on my own and just be myself until this point in my life.
Cool.
I've always been what I was told to be.
Interesting.
I mean, you're to be seen and not heard. You're to,
right.
Story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my theme song of my life is Three Doors Down. Let me be myself.
Cool. Love that.
Yeah. I'd say that's like the theme song of my life. But even with me never being in Scientology, they trust me. They let me know exactly who they were.
Yeah. Maybe part of me thinks maybe I'm super oblivious and don't notice things. Everybody says how much I miss things. So who knows? Entirely possible.
I don't think you miss them. I think maybe they're just not noisy enough.
Right.
Maybe, that was a noisy one, though, because I don't see a coincidence there. Sorry.
Right. And it's hard for them. If I keep moving every 4 days, it's hard for them to follow me.
Right. Let's see. Scientology doesn't believe in it. This is what we're talking. This is back now. I'm going back an hour ago. Scientology doesn't believe in it, and therapy was demonized. Absolutely. And that's what Serge was saying. He said they use words like therapy when you're doing auditing and on the cans, so that when you leave, if you want help, what are you not to do? You're not going to go say, I need therapy, because that word doesn't mean to that person what it does to us.
Right. Well put.
So I really admire them I really admire the ones that are putting that language barrier. They're correcting that part of it.
Me too.
Chrissy Never in Newton. Deprogramming is a process. It takes time, and I hate chat tends to use insecurities to go against. I'm an empath. I have learned so much about the process. Yes, Chrissy, I am. I'm totally an empath, and I understand. That's why I wanted this channel to start to heal. We have to start somewhere, and infighting and all that stuff's not going to help anyone. At least we have somewhere a safe space to come and heal, and we still can carry it forward to the Facebook group, and we have peer support always there.
A lot of people supporting each other here. It's cool.
Yes, I really love my chat. I really love the members and the advocates.
Awesome people.
Yeah, Nico. Hey, Nico. I appreciate having this space. Thank you for making it a safe place for everyone. You're very welcome. Very welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hello, beautiful. I have spoken to several friends about this. Cool. I use art as my therapy quite a bit.
I love that.
Art therapy is a big one that's coming out. Yeah, that they're started doing. And I'm not an artist, so I had to have something analytical. I'm not the left brain. I'm the wait, what is it? I'm not the right brain. I'm the left
mathematic.
Brain. Yeah. I'm definitely left. Analytical.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm the left brain. Yeah. So let's see. Marie says, everyone is a mix of introvert and extrovert to varying degrees. Yes, just like every empath and narcissist have shared qualities. But everyone should be comfortable with their own company as much as it is able to function in group setting. Yes, we talked about that
Yes,
yesterday.
well put. Yes.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Let's see. John, hey, honey. I really love your channel, Dodge, because you're a real person who reports the news with caring and spirit. I can't watch this stuffed shirt group of anchors anymore. Keep doing what you're doing. Right, John? Yes.
Thank you. Hey, keep rooting for the Dodgers. I like your little insignia. Unless that's Detroit. I think it's the Dodgers.
I've got, let's see. Okay.
Oh, CC said
Okay, wait. I have somebody that knows you but you know them by a different name.
Okay.
And I'm gonna pull that up in just a second. Okay, Lady Jane out. Hey, how are you, honey? I actually found out recently that I was in a cult for almost 2 years, the International Church of Christ. Yes, and I did meet Kip. Oh, wow.
What are you guys like?
Wow. Yeah. I'll go back to I'm going to go back into the live chat in just a minute. We're almost through with these. DJ, as also remember that control of words and their meaning, like they do with the word clearing. Word clearing is a powerful tool.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. How
you
to
have the
control
language. That's why it's amazing you're doing what you're doing now.
That language.
At least then I was aware this is therapy. Even as a 9-year-old, I was aware of what a psychiatrist. Well, you knew what a psychiatrist was, but they were the evil incarnate. I was aware of the self-care concept. Right. It's like there is even language for that.
Yeah, and you're right, DJ. It's insidious as hell. Yeah. And Cece says, Dodge is my recharge.
Very sweet. Channel. Thank you, Cece. I'm glad somebody gets something out of it.
Okay, I'm going back to find yes, Lady Jane, will y'all repost the link, please, if you don't mind, for Dodge's
Sure,
channel?
and I'm easy to find because you see my name on here, and if you just search my name on YouTube,
it's in the description already. But if they want them in the chat, they can. It's in the chat. But I'm going to look for something really quick that I need to. I wish somebody would have called Red Light for me real quick. I would have seen it. So let me go back and find this. Moxon sending specific city codes to LAPD and prosecutors to arrest protesters. That's safe pointing. Yes, absolutely. Right. Sure. I think this is the person that knows you.
Xenu Ted. I would know who Xenu Ted is, but
cool. they know you under a different name.
Funny. Okay. Maybe someday I'll find out that identity.
Yeah, I don't want to invade on anybody's territory.
Well, thank you for that person who knows me. Very kind, whoever you are.
Yes. Let's see. I'm going up here. Queen Dayton, you made it. Yes. Oh, Lady Jane, now please join the Facebook group. Absolutely.
Yeah, guys join. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Please. LJ Dennis said just popping in to say hello to all you beautiful people. Let's see. Yeah, the Facebook group. It is in the description, and plus they'll be posting it. Okay, I'm getting up here to this conversation. Sorry about this, Dodge.
Take your time. Fine.
Oh, I'm so glad to see this lovely person in here today. Very much so.
To have you.
Yes, I'm very happy to see that person. Yeah. And also support the people I feel are decent and authentic.
I try to be authentic, if nothing else.
You are that.
Thank you. And I try to be decent and not attack people thank you.
Hey, Violet. West Coast Fancy Nancy. How are you? I'm coming back up because I missed the live chat. Because when I have a guest on, I don't like to. I won't watch the chat too much so that I can.
Thanks. Retired red. Appreciate it.
Yes, there's all kind of. Let's see. Yeah, I thought you were supposed to be busy. Home improvement. You had a honeydew list there.
Congratulations.
He's sneaking her way. Oh wait, look.
Oh, you're from Cobb. Okay, cool.
That's my beautiful friend.
Oh, yes. Cool. I was in Marietta at the golf course, and I stayed at the golf course because I thought the dog would love running around the golf course at night, especially after he was by himself because I had flown into Chicago. I was like, I wanted a space where we could exit the hotel and the dog has all this running around space. So I thought
that dog loves to walk.
Yeah. He does. He does. So it was bougie. Usually it was like crazy. It's like 170 a night. Usually I'll pay like 70, 80 a night for lodging. So that was like a splurge, but I felt like the dog deserved it. And then that's where I got arrested. So there you go. Oh, lives in Marietta. Cool. Well, maybe you know a little bit about their law enforcement.
Yeah, I'm just
No
coming
fancy
down
words.
this. I'm actually going backwards because
I'll tell you this. I ain't going back to Marietta, as lovely as it was. I'll go back to Atlanta, but I ain't going back to Cobb County.
Let's see. Yeah, we did that one. Judy, hey, how are you? No, I think I said hi earlier. I hope I did. I was just trying to focus on Dodge there. I wanted to, let's see. I am trying to find what I was just with Skylight Night. Keilah stays true to that. All mental health, no noise. Absolutely do my best. I do my best on that because I don't want that in here. This is a safe place for us to be able to say what we need to say. Yeah. Blake O'Hill. Brunettes will always be my top except for some blondes.
I like that.
Like
you and me both. You and me both. 1,000%. Funny.
Okay, so I'm looking and we have so many people in here. I can't my eyes are watering here.
How do you see how many people are here? Usually you can. I don't see any.
We have about 49 or 50. I think we were at 50.
Good amount.
Nice okay, for us because yeah, our little mental health channel's just here.
Well, please subscribe to you. If they're watching this channel, they know how to subscribe, but please subscribe. If you already subscribed to me,
yeah, I don't ever call out my own thing.
So you're well worth watching. So I did my own little announcement on my community tab. So I guess thank you guys for if there are any fans of mine who came over to watch this.
Yes, there are. There's been several in here.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Wait, what did Judy say? Did we Dodge so sorry that really sucks, my son? Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, we're talking about that.
Yeah.
Well
I just want
deserved
to make sure I'm not
for service, especially. Wow.
Okay, here we go. Where Zenu Ted, are you still in here? I mean, you don't have to say it if I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable at all, but I would like you if you join the Facebook group so we can continue that conversation.
For sure.
Okay, so here we go. Hello, all Dodging.
Oh, very sweet. That's my dog's name. His name.
No, are my favorite people, but he knows me by another name. I couldn't have had this at a better time. I feel like I'm losing myself lately. Please go to the Facebook group because what we have there is like tailor-made. If there's not a peer support chat that you can't find to fit your category, the absolute amazing mods in there will make one.
Right.
So please go to the Facebook group because we don't just leave here and leave everyone left. Just hanging.
We're here for you.
Yeah, definitely. Judy says, yeah, I deal with chronic depression and anxiety disorder. So mental health really matters to me. Thank you.
I definitely deal with anxiety, so I could relate with that.
See, and I am like the biggest. I never had it before. I'm telling you, the lockdowns did it.
Funny, and that's what. Yeah,
it did it to
funny.
me.
I ignored the lockdowns because I was caught on the road, and I was the only one who was happy about it because I got fired from my first TV news job. That was stupid. That's because I had marijuana mailed to myself, and my coworker ratted me out. Like, I didn't get any charges. Well, my coworker ratted me out, and so I got fired. And so I had this rental car with all my stuff, and I was like, cool, I'll just take a fun road trip to get back to New York City, where I was from Wyoming. It's like, all right, cool, I'll take like 4 months to do it, 3 months to do it. And so then I leave, and I celebrate St. Pat. I get fired. I stick around for 3 days to celebrate St. Patrick's Day with everybody to say goodbye. Then I get on the road, and 4 days into the road, the pandemic happens. And I'm like, I have to get to New York. But I actually ended up, I wore my mask in supermarkets and stuff. But it was almost surreal because it's like you had the whole nation to yourself. Every block was empty. Every hiking trail was completely open. I remember I stayed at Hilton in downtown Houston for $60. I actually quite enjoyed it. It was before I got my dog, but
hey, my dog is registered as my service dog.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I go, she goes.
Right.
I woke up, I think 2 weeks ago was my last seizure because I have seizures.
No, I'm sorry.
I always have. But I mean, they're under control with medication. Mostly stress will cause them every now and then. And then sometimes I'll just have a breakthrough one. You don't ever know. Yeah. But I know that my dog knows because I wake up and I was on top of her, all of her 130-pound self. You know, she wasn't weighed that much till I got her fixed, and then oh my lord, she's a coffee table. She's the American bully, and she's like so wide.
They're big.
But
Yeah.
she will take and like herd me if she senses something is wrong. She'll herd me to somewhere where if I do fall or whatever, I'm not going to hurt myself.
Right.
And I don't know what happened that day. I just know that I'm just now getting rid of this on my forehead where I had a big, huge knot. But,
oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
But she was right there.
Right.
She was there.
Thank God. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I can notice it sticking out every now and then, like right here.
Amazing how intuitive they are. They can have that spatial recognition and physics.
Before I even know. I mean, I don't know. It just happens.
Yeah, we're good, Mandy. Mwah. Big fan of Mandy's. Mandy's just left a comment saying I have to head out. You guys.
Where's Mandy? Okay, I'm looking.
I might need to head out relatively soon.
Yeah, we're gonna go. Oh, Mandy. Okay, I love you, Mandy. Yes, thank you. Yes, there was Lady Jane. Now there was something I wanted to put that you put up here. Wait. Oh, that's Brian. Hang on. There was something that Lady Jane. That's okay. Well, I'll get you, Lady Jane. Wait,
I can dig for it.
Thank you. I followed Dodge.
Oh, there you go. Very sweet.
There you go. There you go.
That was worth pulling up.
Yes,
I liked one of them from a poet, Brian Lucas. I was delivering food during the pandemic. The city was empty. It was nice. That must have been cool. Like no traffic and yeah.
Oh, wait, Rochelle says, I developed anxiety after lockdown too. Never had that issue in my whole life.
Wow.
Me too. So we're on the same length here.
Yeah.
Me too.
Like
so, but okay. Wait, this thing now I know why people get savaged. Because I can't control that. Look, I already followed Dodge.
Thank you, Waze. Appreciate that.
Hey, Susie, the spicy little princess. How are you, darling? Okay. Oh, now here you go. Indigo says, "Here, Dodge, you can't escape support, Dodge. You're one of us now."
I'm honored. You guys are a great beacon of support, so I'll readily take it.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm really I do want to ask you because I always ask this of everybody. The last question is, and I'm trying. I have been having wrecking my brain here. Yeah. I always ask. The last question, and you've been pretty tough for me to figure out on what I was going to ask because you're just you, and you're wonderful you.
Thank you.
So, I think I've figured it out. So, if you can look back at the little Dodge before journalism school, before you knew what you wanted to be when you grew up, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, but you know,
you've had an impressive career though.
What would you tell yourself?
Don't be so hard on yourself. Realize that everything you're dealing with now is incredibly inconsequential. I remember, it's funny. Like, I don't remember being that happy in childhood. It's so funny when everybody looks back in their childhood, they're like, oh, I miss those days. Like, with the toxic masculinity stuff, especially in the early 2000s, and the mid 2000s, the media around you, if you're not getting a date, you're almost trained to think that you're an inadequate person. So that's how I went through most of my childhood and very early adult life. I felt it, there were happy moments and lots of friends, but that me feeling like a loser permeated every single day and many moments. So it's so funny. Everybody remembers their child. I don't remember my child. I'm much happier now than he ever was.
Oh, me too.
Even at 8 or 9. And at 9, I felt neglected. And my parents were good parents, but they didn't put a lot of effort. Like I was parked by the TV a lot, left alone for 8 hours a day. When they had me on weekends, they'd go and I'd be left alone in the house for most of the day. And my mom would usually miss dinner, and parents were divorced. And so I tell myself, but now I think there's a lot of that stuff from the reason I love my own company and I don't even want a relationship is because I've hardened and protected my heart. I would say, don't worry about things. Try to love more regardless. Don't beat yourself up. Don't think you're inadequate, and you will find happiness, and it will take a long time, and your happiness will be freedom. And maybe that love of freedom is a way to fight against some of the shortcomings that you had in childhood or some of the ways where you thought it could have been better? I don't know, but at this point, it makes me very happy. So I'll say that 8-year-old, find your independence. Don't forget to love. Realize that most of these events aren't consequential, and you should think well of yourself. Because I really didn't, up until, maybe 4 or 5 years. And I got my first girlfriend like towards the end of college, and then I felt a little better. But yeah, I would say, don't forget to love, but love yourself most of all. And don't
Perfect,
worry.
Dodge. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna start crying over here because like that's perfect. No, really. That look.
Good
Okay,
question.
so red. That's
Thank
so
you. I
good,
appreciate that.
Dodge. Great advice, Dodge.
Thank you.
Your
Thank you.
personality is truly beautiful,
Oh,
Dodge.
that's sweet.
Dodge, that was
Thank you.
amazing. Thank you for that.
You're
Because a
welcome.
lot of us could use that because I
Yeah.
don't remember my childhood so happy either. But your advice, just talking to your younger self, affects a lot of people.
Yeah, thanks. And I
You
don't know if
matter.
I'll ever have kids or not, but if I do, I think that the way that parents, especially like in the 90s when I was in that generation, messed up is they didn't know how to put emotions or a concept of life into words. And so it's as if live and don't talk to me about it because I don't have the verbal capability to talk about it. I think now in today's day and age, we do. If I said, "Oh, all the people are bullying me," my dad said, "Oh, don't toughen up. It's so not a big deal." Versus now, they might say, "Well, people, this is why people are assholes. This is why they're going. This is how you can feel good about yourself and empower yourself. I understand why you're feeling this." I never really got any of that. So, yeah. So I think if I ever have a kid, it'll be like, I'll try to verbalize and objectively put into words emotions and feelings about oneself to really try to talk about it. That's the thing. I'm glad people are talking about mental health because people didn't used to in that same way. And it could damage people if they don't. To just pretend it doesn't exist, as my parents kind of were. Just push through, and your emotions are not real.
We're trying to end that stigma. John, absolutely. Dodge is the real deal. Thanks for spending some time with us. No, we've had this whole week on men's mental health, and that seems to be the number one. That is the number one thing about men's mental health, that they're always what their society expects and the way you're brought up, and you don't talk about that. You just pull up your bootstraps.
Right.
So
it's a lot, and you have to actively. I think that's why I liked my own company, because I could separate myself away from a society when I was in my early 20s that said you as a man are defined by how attractive a woman would be into you. That is your self-worth. I know that's so irrelevant and who cares? But it's like you learn that in early college, late high school. And the way to wiggle your way out of it is just to go away from that awful environment. And I think that's why I love traveling, because I could find happiness and find myself in a way that was separate from how do I compete with other people. It was like, I could find happiness and not have to worry about competition. And then there's ways for a man to find happiness that doesn't necessarily involve them being better than another man, which I think is what we're taught.
Well, oh my gosh, Dodge! I should have definitely had you on at the beginning of the week.
Well, you can come back in a couple days or whatever.
Well, you get to wrap up. This is our last video for now on men's mental health, because we've been here all week long. But I'll tell you something. Wow, that's all I can say. I mean, like, you really. Thank you for this.
You're welcome. That's therapeutic even talking about it. So I appreciate you. Give me the opportunity to share it.
Truly happy about this.
Good. I'm glad you think so. Well, it can be overwhelming as a young man. It can be so overwhelming because we're always trained to have the external stuff to think of yourself as adequate enough. And we realize if you separate yourself, that's the joy of a dog, I think, in my life. You separate yourself from that and you realize there are other ways to be happy. And, for me, it was always who's up and who's down. And then I got involved in politics, and politics was like that, right? And it was like in TV news, I kept failing. And it's like the best failure I've ever had, because like now I feel like I'm not competing with people. In TV news, you're still competing with people. I was in politics. Politics, you're still competing. And it's so nice where it's like, this is like more collective, right? Like, I grow, you grow. You grow, I grow. I am not hoping you lose subscribers. You're not hoping I lose subscribers.
Yeah,
we all want each other to do. We like each other. We want each other to do well, and that's my personality. you know, I always said, I don't want anybody to push me around, and I don't want to push anybody around. And so this is a space where you don't have to do either, which is great.
You're very, very respected in here. Just I
Thank
want
you.
you to know
That's
that,
sweet.
and you're very welcomed in
Appreciate that.
here. And I hope everybody, yeah, I'd almost forgotten about that we're able to gift memberships, so I just gifted 5 from our channel.
Badass. Cool. Thank you.
Hope they got me. Yeah, we could do 10 a month. They split them up into 5. So next week
And
I'll gift 5 more, and that's a little trick that I didn't know YouTube had. That
yeah.
each channel can do 10 memberships.
Yeah, I don't understand the gift thing, but that's a whole thing. And very sweet comments, by the way, from Indigo Twin. Very funny. I'm glad they fired you, Dodge. We got a true gift to your freedom. I'm
I
glad
agree
they
with
did
you,
so.
Indigo.
Nice to hear. And then I really like Rochelle's comment as well. Dodge can't be contained. I think him not working for a corporate entity has resulted in him living his best life. Yeah, I agree. I feel the same. That's sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, literally, absolutely. Yeah, let's see. I can't imagine Scientology would try to save Point Dodge since they actually got him fired. I think he will report fairly whether he likes someone or not. I do too.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And Cece, I remember Cece. Cece's been like one of my OG fans. So, hey, Cece. I've watched Dodge since day one of Tony Ortega. Way back. Great example of normal in my view. Appreciate that.
Great. Great, great, great. Okay, well, Dodge, I want to say thank you. I want to say thanks to all the mods, all the members, the advocates, everyone that's super chatted, everyone that please go look at Dodge's page. We had posted some things. Let's support him to get him to his next destination because he does so much for us.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. I really would appreciate that. Thank you, Indigo, for everything you're doing, and all the mods and the chatters, and Dodge, most of all, thank you for coming on.
Of course, it means the world. Thank you. Thank you.
And I really hope
this felt very therapeutic for me too. So
I'm glad.
You do effective work, and I'd love to have you on my stream maybe in the next week or so. I think that would be a lot of fun.
You got my email.
Talk about other topics. So
yeah, give me an email. Awesome. Yes, I think I went on Ben's and we did a narcissist panel one day.
Cool.
Yeah. So, but I like other things too. So yes.
Cool. Perfect.
So just give me an email. But
awesome.
Y'all, hope everyone has a wonderful day. And I got another surprise for y'all tomorrow.
Cool. I'll be watching.
Have a great day.